Backpack Broadcasting continues to bring you the best original sports content, but now you can get more of the content you love. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to bonus content, including behind-the-scenes footage and interviews from the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, or the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. All this exclusive content comes via Patreon. There are tiered levels of patronage, and each Backpack Broadcasting patron receives exclusive perks. Your support helps Backpack Broadcasting create more of the original content that you love. Visit Backpack Broadcasting's Patreon page and become a patron today. Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, episode 43, Dexter Henry Bryan Fonseca, and we have a guest with us here at the Gotham Podcast Studios. Her name is Naomi Grey. I like to call her the First Lady of Backpack Broadcasting. Aww. Yes, because she is. She had a lot of firsts for women with Backpack Broadcasting.
That's very true.
A lot. And you're here. We've been wanting you here for a while.
That's
true. You are here. Yep. We have you in studio. You are about to leave us and leave New York.
I know. Oh my, don't
we should announce now. First, for everybody who doesn't know, Naomi is, I would say before I would have said aspiring. I said it for so many years. Aspiring. I can't even talk. Aspiring
it's
sports.
Because Serena Williams is losing, right?
Oh Lord, let's not do that. No,
don't do that here.
Well, this is going up Thursday. By the time
even matter.
Yeah, we're doing this podcast and we are watching the U.S. Open Women's Final.
By the time this comes out, Naomi's already going to be driving to Minnesota.
Yes, she's going to Minnesota because she's
hopefully
taking
she
a
will
new
have made
job
it by
there. And hopefully she'll be going smiling about a Serena Williams victory. You will be taking your job, as I said. I was going to say you were an aspiring sports broadcast journalist, but you are that now. You've been doing it for quite some time, and you're going to have a new job where? Tell the people where you're about to go.
So I got a gig at KTTC, which is a NBC affiliate in Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota. And I'm going to be a news producer and a sports anchor. So, yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, you got to clap it up for that. You ain't
going to get West Indian food out there.
Unfortunately, honestly, you know what? I kind of am used to it because, as some people know, like I was in Connecticut for school for a year, and trying to find Caribbean food. At Quinnipiac University.
Yeah, good luck finding any Caribbean
right,
food
getting
out
my
there.
master's degree. So, like, honestly, there was days where I would like get a craving, like an itching for some curry chicken, or some oxtail, and I'd go to like look for Jamaican restaurants or any Caribbean restaurants, and I'd find them, but like their flavors just weren't on point.
Yep.
And I mean, one thing that was like in common with all the restaurants, they ran out of like plantains like an hour after opening. Like you gotta go to a Caribbean restaurant and you want something, and I feel like they run out of something early all the time. So
they ran out of plantains.
I was like, I went there and I think it was I went there and I think that it was like 2:00.
Why do you sound so
2
disappointed, Dex?
Because like what's a meal without that little sweetness on the side? Like
I agree. It's just not the same. And I have a problem with places that like this is kind of what you do or the staples of your food, and then they don't have it when you get there. It's like going to KFC and they don't got no chicken. Like,
damn.
Really?
That's what it was. And I
mean, that's happened before for people, not for me, but it's happened.
I was going to say, you've gone to KFC. You're a KFC over Popeyes.
I am a KFC over Popeyes. That's how it's supposed to be.
You like Popeyes more than KFC, Naomi?
No, I'm a Popeyes girl. Like before. Wow, let's relax. So before I was...
The first of many conflicts to come from this episode.
I'm going to have to put on my gloves soon, but anyways.
Yes, you will, especially with Bryan.
I know. But I used to like KFC, but then, like, I don't know. I don't like that their food is like, their chicken is kind of soggy sometimes. Like Popeyes, you could always count on it being crispy.
Okay. You guys in the overratedness of
and then the mashed potatoes, the Cajun fries, Popeyes fries.
Their fries are better.
I like Burger King #1, Popeyes #2. French fries. That's
okay, we went down a whole fast food chicken
Whenever I'm in the
trail.
room, I'm going to be talking about food.
Where's Wendy's?
Nowhere.
That's a dub. It's
all right.
Wendy's is a dub.
Yeah, no, we don't mention. Yeah.
I don't like Wendy's.
You guys are eating unhealthy over there. Just gonna say that. You guys are eating healthy.
That's gonna change soon.
What is what it is?
I don't even
make sure you bring your mic closer. We want to make sure.
Oh yeah,
make sure
sorry.
make sure that we hear.
She was plenty loud. Don't worry about
it. Wow, what are you trying to say?
No, because she says she probably doesn't even need the mic.
She does. She projects.
I'm a very loud person.
So you're going to Minnesota. I want to give people some background with Naomi. Naomi, I've known you for
4 years.
About 4 years
About
now,
before.
right? About 4 years now. And I met Naomi because of a guy who's doing some of my video, Greg.
Yes.
Greg introduced us. Greg was like, "You need to speak to this young lady and meet with her."
And that's when I suck. So Greg, shout out to you for seeing something in me to even like put me on to somebody.
No, Greg
else.
was like, "Yo, you need to talk," and we had a conversation about sports broadcasting in your career. I can't believe that's 4 years ago.
I remember that day like it was
Starbucks.
yesterday.
Wow.
I remember when I first met you, I was actually like hosting the 401 episode, that one. I was mad nervous.
That's actually the first time I met you.
That was the first time we
That's
met,
right.
and then we
Yes.
exchanged information, and then I remember sitting in the Starbucks with you.
Yeah. And we had a good conversation about sports broadcasting career.
Yeah.
And Naomi's gone on to do some sideline reporting for Backpack Broadcasting. She interned at News 12 Brooklyn in the Bronx, where I used to work. And she's really just put a lot of work into her career. So I'm always happy when I see people who've worked at what they want to do and win. And that's why we're so happy that you got this job now.
Yeah,
and,
thank
and
you.
you're excited.
Thank
So
you.
now you're going to a smaller market and you're going to report. I know Brian's happy too.
Yeah, we came up together as well because we met at Unsigned Hype.
Oh my God,
So
yeah.
2016.
You know what's funny? That was, and we were producing Unsigned Hype as a live stream. Brian and Naomi was the first time, if I'm correct, I used sideline reporters for a live broadcast that we produced. Both you guys.
Actually, the first
No,
one
the
was
first one was before that.
the Jordan Brand Classic game, and you just threw me into it. And I remember I bombed.
Jordan Brand Classic?
It was a
No.
Jordan Brand Classic. I'm sorry, not Jordan Brand Classic.
I was like, I don't have the rights to that. I would like it. I don't.
That's what I said.
I was like, I don't have the rights.
I know what you're talking about.
ESPN's gonna come for
No,
you.
it wasn't my bad. Time out. It wasn't the Jordan. After I said, I was like, oh nah, I
I was
never.
like, when did I do that?
No, it was that
Pro
thing.
City?
Not
No,
Pro
no, no,
City.
no,
It
no.
was also
We're getting
at.
to that.
It was also at the same location.
I know what you're talking about. I wasn't there.
Westinghouse.
Oh,
The thing after- it was like the day after
it was the
Christmas.
Brooklyn Bridge Classic.
Yes, that one.
That's what it was. It was at Westinghouse High
you were
School.
close.
No,
You were
but
close.
I know why you were confusing because it was two live streams we had done at the same place. So you're right, but it was the Brooklyn Bridge Classic.
Yeah.
we were close.
And the reason, so that Naomi doesn't look crazy, the reason why she thought of Jordan is Jordan Brand sponsors Westinghouse.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
sponsored the
there we
court.
go. That's what it was.
That's
yeah.
why.
So that was where.
It's all right. Yeah, I know what the Jordan Brand Classic is.
So that was where we met, and we did sideline reporting.
And you guys were both my first time sideline reporters for a live broadcast. And I remember, Brian hadn't done it before either. I think neither of you guys had
that was my
live.
second time doing it for you.
the
That was
first time was the Brooklyn Bridge one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first
Yeah.
one was the Brooklyn Bridge.
That
Brian
was my
wasn't
first
there, though.
time. You was like, "Oh, you want to do it?" I was like, "I guess."
Yeah. And I just threw Naomi to fight. How was I don't feel I tell people like how was
So
that?
the
we
first one- hold on.
we thought we were pretty bad.
No, the first one. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. The
Y'all
first
can go look
one,
at that on Backpack Broadcasting.
Don't
No,
look
don't.
at it. You're good. You're really good on that. Please don't. Bruh. No. Listen, let me explain.
We
So
had
the
moments.
Brooklyn Bridge Classic
I have a story about
was
that.
my
I want to
first
tell. I don't know if
time.
I'm allowed though.
The Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, nah.
Oh, I know what you're going to.
Time out. I'm
I
good.
go back.
Don't do that.
No, I know where you're going to.
Oh my God,
Alright,
no.
fine.
I know what you're going.
Don't do that.
Is it the player to try to holler?
Yeah.
Yo,
Okay,
that's gonna
yeah,
be so
okay,
obvious.
yeah.
Anywho,
Nah, it's taken down from Instagram now.
what? There's still screenshots on my phone, but anywho, we won't.
Mine
we won't
too?
go, we won't go there. Why you gotta be messy? Let me explain my experience.
Go ahead,
The
go ahead.
thirst
So-
was real.
Oh my God.
All right, go ahead.
So the first one was the Brooklyn Bridge Classic. Dex. Like Brian was. I didn't meet
No, I
Brian at
wasn't
the
at
time
that.
because
It was just you that day.
It was just me that day, and it was like the day after Christmas, and it was my first time ever doing a live stream, and I didn't know anything about any of the teams because I was like, I'm more of in like New York City, I'm more like a football girl, not New York City like PSAL basketball, so I didn't know what was going on. And Dex was just like, "You're gonna be fine, just we're gonna tell you a couple things about the team.
That's what he always
just
says.
go in there
Yep.
and talk about it." And I
That's
was
not
like,
what I always say.
You're gonna be
bruh,
fine.
I
Just do it.
bombed every single hit. I bombed. I'm talking like, this guy's from Abraham Lincoln, like,
Is it a
and
college?
it's live.
Is it a
It's
college?
live.
Or high
Like
school?
I'm like blank. So Dex was like, "You're fine. You're great." And I'm like, "Yo, I went home.
I don't know if I
felt
said great, but
you're doing okay." He says like, "You're doing fine." Okay, maybe fine was the word. Fine was the word. I didn't get
fine
great.
sounds like something
I
I say.
didn't get great
I don't
probably
use the
till
word
Pro
great
City.
loosely. I don't
didn't
use the
get
word great loosely,
I didn't get
I'll
the
say
word
that.
great until probably Pro City, probably. But he told me I was doing fine, and I was like, "All right, that means terrible." And I knew I was terrible, so I wasn't sweating it. But I went home and I felt like crap, and I was like so bummed out. And then he gave me another chance to do it. And that's when I met Bryan.
Yeah.
And then I was nervous, but that hit that I did, my first hit was pretty solid because I was like, all right, like I was learning how to like retain information and like, you know, less is more. And like, I kind of got it. I was like, Bryan was coaching me and it was Bryan's first time. I was like, Bryan, like, you know, like
getting advice from a rookie coach.
No, but you know what it is.
But it was
it's like,
good though. Like he was just chill with it. I was more nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I had experience in it in some way, just from like watching it a lot,
right?
And just kind of not watching it from the sense where I'm just watching it, but watching and kind of looking at how someone like Josina Anderson does it, for example. You know what I mean? And just kind of retaining that information.
Exactly.
We were just trying to help each other out, so that was fun. We were already talking like this pretty much.
Literally, probably met him 5 minutes, and he probably was like saying something stupid to me. Like
that's Bryan.
Bryan is like the annoying little brother. Like he's like, anytime anybody asks, I'm like, yo, that's my annoying little brother.
She forgets that she's older than me by like 2 months.
Yeah, but
oh, you people, and I'm so much older than you by 2 months.
I remember.
Shut up.
But he definitely is like the annoying little brother. Like he annoys me all the time.
When you look at that, and you look at you had your opportunity, if you want to say. I know you were doing stuff at Brooklyn College when you were there and doing stuff on camera.
I want to get to Pro City after this.
And you had your opportunity there. And let's actually go to that before what I was going to ask, because Bryan brings up a good point. You thought it was a failure at this Brooklyn Bridge Classic when you were on camera.
Absolutely,
it was. Both you guys did Unsigned Hype, and you did that. And then that summer we live streamed Nike Pro City. And what did you think? Because a lot of people, I think this is a good thing for people to know in any industry. You had some stumbles, but you stayed with it.
Right.
And then how did you feel about your growth that summer when you were doing the Pro City games?
Oh, I was so satisfied. Like, I literally was, like, so excited to be at Pro City every Tuesday and Thursday. Like, I finally got, like, because for a while I kept saying, I want to do sideline reporting. And it's so easy to say you want to do something until you actually do it. So the fact that I did it and I bombed and I still kind of had that itch to still do it, you know, it helped me, like, it made me want to work harder because I was like, yo, I don't care even though I sucked at the first time. It's like, it's what I want to do. It's what I love doing. So when I started getting to hang things at Pro City, I was like, yo, I didn't want to say nobody could tell me nothing, but I was like, this is, you know, I got the hang of it. And it felt like so relieving because it's like, it's live stream and, you know, sideline reporting is live all the time. You know what I mean? So it's just like being able to just be busy and it's like, Naomi, you're going on in 6 minutes. This when the clock hits this, blah, blah, blah. It was like an adrenaline rush. So it was lit. Like, and, you know, I looked at the game differently because, I mean, I was never a basketball fan. So I would just watch, all right, he got it in, blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, doing the sideline reporting, I had to actually start looking at different things. Like, I remember you threw, like, when I interviewed, I think it was Zach Zarbra, the NBA referee. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. He actually was his father was my neighbor, and I remember.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was another time you threw just a ball at me, and I had to catch it.
We used to meet up before games.
Yo, when we first
passing
started,
notes, because we both were like, we had like anxiety.
We were like, all right, this guy played for the.
We used to trade notes. I don't know if you knew this. We used to trade notes. There was a Mexican restaurant outside of Baruch that we used to go into. A healthy Mexican spot. That one. And
there was an Asian one as well up the block.
And those toros. Those toros.
Which you love a little too much.
Not anymore because they don't take cash. So what's it called? We used to like the one at least in Brooklyn doesn't take cash, like deep into Brooklyn. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So what's it called? I like buying my food with cash.
Just go. So
okay, whatever.
No, so we used to pass notes. We used to like exchange.
I did not know this.
We used to like prepare. Like we used to actually
meet
up.
We were a fake little team.
Meet up like 2 hours early and prepare. And like I would also play Pokemon Go.
And God, you did.
Yeah,
but one thing about Pro City,
that was when that game was high. Yo, Dex, don't look at me like that, fam. Like
every time you did it, I shook my head anyways. But one thing about Pro City, it's like I got the hang of things of sideline reporting at Pro City, but I still, you know, there were still days where I sucked as well. So it's just like
I want to say something because I feel like if somebody's listening to this, they're gonna be like, "Yo, Dexter was just throwing them in there."
No, it wasn't like that.
But you would explain that's how we learn.
To a degree, I'm somebody.
And I think we turned out fine so far.
I believe in that. I believe in that. So. That's how people who mentored me kind of was like, you got to do it. You mess up on a stand-up, you automatically go in and do it. You can't think about the failures too much. You just have to get back on the horse and do it. So I believe in that, and I believe you're gonna look. I knew y'all were gonna mess up. Like,
God bless you for trusting.
Like I knew you were gonna, but you have to learn. Like this, you know, when you're doing things on, this is the place you're gonna work out the kinks, and there's not that much pressure.
Absolutely.
Yes, we were producing a product that was live, and we wanted it to be good for people, and we wanted people to see the high level of quality. But I believed in you guys. Look. what I think what you guys said there is that people need to know is when somebody gives you opportunity, you have to take it and then put in the work. Part of doing the work is preparation.
Absolutely.
Preparation means going to sit in a little Mexican spot,
that's what
a little
it was,
Asian spot, having your food, and writing your notes and doing stuff. I didn't even know that till today. You guys told me that.
No, we did it.
We used to do that because, like, we really wanted to get good at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's really, like,
it.
once I had the opportunity to do exactly what I wanted to do, be on the sidelines, I was like, yo, I'm not going to make that same. I tried to not make the same mistake twice. So I was like, I always think about the Brooklyn Bridge Classic at anything I do, whether it's anchoring, whether it's, like, doing some in-studio thing for school. Like, I always think about that moment when I completely bombed, and I was like, Naomi, you bombed because you weren't prepared. So it's like, the only person you could blame for that is yourself. And it's not even a bad thing that, oh, Naomi, you suck, but it's just like, I know my potential, so I should work towards that. Like, if I know I could body this, then I need to put in the work, because it's not going to happen if I don't put in the work. So
I remember
that's dope.
also...
That's really dope, well said.
I remember, you know what? I even remember in games where, like, we would both walk, like, when one of us had a hit, we would both walk over.
Yeah,
and the other person
watch the other person.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yo, hold my stuff real quick.
And then, I gotta go. You ready? All right, let's go.
Remember, like, yo, how do you think it sounded? We used to do that all the time.
I remember producing some of the games, which I did. Some of the games I was announcing, so I remember watching you guys do that and see that. And I could say this. I remember watching those games and seeing how you guys got better throughout the summer. Again, people, if you want to watch those games, you can on Backpack Broadcasting.
They're always, those are fun to look back on.
You want to see young Naomi and young Bryan?
Baruch was giving us audio issues.
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing. I wanted to put so much backpack stuff on so much Pro City stuff on my reel.
But we had some audio issues there.
Baruch's Wi-Fi and everything was, like, terrible.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was still... It was fun.
Oh, my God.
It's true, though.
It was great, though.
Yeah,
it was honestly great.
But no, it was true. And then after that, we did production at the U.S. Open together also.
Oh, my God.
We have a whole, like...
We're going to write a book one day.
About the crazy times coming up in the industry.
Yeah.
So the next thing I'll say to you is for people
now you're going to damn Minnesota.
Yeah, you're going to Minnesota, but your time from Pro City, and just when you look back and say how much I went from Brooklyn Bridge Classic to where you are now, to be able to go to Minnesota and working for a station, you know, how fulfilling does it feel for you to get here? I know a lot of this because we've talked a lot about this.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of conversations about this along the way, so I know this. But for people, I think it's good for people to hear somebody's been coming up through this journey and young right now into this. Just what's it like to be here in this moment? Like, what are you feeling in this moment?
In this exact moment, like, now it kind of just hit me hearing you say that, because I remember, like, going through the process with my current news director of, like, getting the job, doing all the little kinks out, and I was just like, I remember being at my apartment in Connecticut and literally having, like, an anxiety attack because I was just waiting for him to call me, because, you know, I was waiting, and people would text me, I'd be tight, like, why are you texting me right now? Like, this notification,
that's the worst, when you're waiting for a call or a text, and then you're getting a call or text from somebody else. That is the worst.
See, I can't be that person. I can't, like, sit and watch.
No, I have to, like, go out on my balcony, take a deep breath.
Because you need to be focused by the time that phone rings.
Yeah.
I feel her.
Exactly.
Nah, I can't. That's just putting too much pressure on the
situation.
Maybe when we get a little older, we won't think of it
we'll
as
be all right,
seriously.
but
probably.
We're not that experienced.
I'm not saying you're crazy for that. I understand.
No, we're crazy.
Just,
we're crazy.
Yeah.
We own it.
But it's like, I remember those moments waiting for...
It's true, we do. Like,
right. But no, waiting for that call was so nerve-wracking because I was like, yo, this is everything that I wanted. Like, this is everything I worked for.
Yeah.
And it's going to probably happen for me at this point. So I was nervous because I've dealt with rejection before. Like, I told you, Dex, like, I called you crying when I got denied by ESPN. Having ESPN.
I remember that.
We met up before that, too.
We met up. Brian was with me, and I was
she
like, I got
hit me up to help her study.
Because I was
we
like...
sat in a library floor.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Right.
Yeah, so, I remember. It's funny. Those are things you sometimes forget. But something you said before, I think it's important to remember those moments of rejection or pain through your process of life you go through. Like, I always go back on stuff like that, and it still motivates you.
Yeah.
It's important to still remember that stuff, but enjoy the process it goes. But it sounds to me like you're enjoying the process now.
Yeah, now I am. So it's definitely, like, it's an amazing feeling, and I know that once I get there, like, when I start on the 17th, I know that's when it's going to really hit me and be like, yo, Naomi, you're about to grind. Like, it's grind season. Because, you know, it's one thing to just keep saying, like, yeah, you know, I'm going to go, I'm going to be there, blah, blah, blah. But it's like when you're in it, I feel like that's when it's really going to hit me. And I get emotional about it all the time because I was just like, you know, I come from a family where, like, one of my sisters didn't get to finish school because she had a daughter. My other sister graduated, and, you know, she didn't get to live out her career because she also had a daughter. So it's just, like, everything I do right now is kind of, like, for my family and, you know, for my nieces and just for people to see that, you know, like, you could make things happen if you put the work towards it. So not saying that my sisters didn't put the work towards it. They put the work towards it, but, they had things come in between. And, like, I fortunately have never been in that situation where I had something kind of blocking my blessings. I don't want to say block my blessings. The child's not blessing, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely had, like,
what did you say? That was really fast. That last sentence. But I did have a question. So, like, you're
I talk fast, bro. You want me to do?
I know, but yeah.
Slow it down on camera.
Trust me,
okay.
I know. But your willingness to travel, right? Like me, I'm not planning on leaving New York. But there are some people that I know.
Please clarify that. You're not planning on
leaving New York for a job.
Any job you wouldn't leave for?
Well, it depends. Like,
yeah, okay. See, there you go.
It depends.
I just want to make sure you want people to think you're one of those people that's like, I'm never leaving New York.
No. I'm just like, I'm not planning on doing that anytime soon. But you did that. You went to grad school in Connecticut, Quinnipiac. You're taking this job, obviously, to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Why was, I guess, the willingness to travel important to you?
Because if, like, the dream I had is bigger than anything. It's bigger than, me staying at home and being in the comfort of my parents' house or being in comfort of being in Brooklyn. Like, aside from doing all the sports stuff, I've been waitressing for, like, 5 years. So it's, like, that's how I'm getting my money. That's how I'm be able to stay in New York, even though, like, I wasn't paying real hard bills. But, like, that's the lifestyle I felt like it connected me to New York. So I'm like, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to clock into a job and be told, like, oh, did you greet the customer right? Did you ask them if they want another drink? Like, that's like that idea.
No disrespect to waitresses out there.
No, I mean, listen, that's how I got my money up. That's how I got my car. That's how I got my apartments. Like, that's what's making me be able to hold myself down. So no shots at that. But that's not the lifestyle I wanted. And I feel like that's what you got to do in New York to kind of live. Like, me being 24 years old, I knew where I was at. I wasn't going to be blessed with the job that I wanted in New York. Like, I wasn't going to be able to get an on-camera job in New York. Mm-hmm. I would have had to start at a news desk.
I mean, you could have. There's people that could have hired you, but
Yeah. I mean, nobody.
They'd be hiring the same people all the time.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I could have.
Yeah.
I could have. But they didn't see my potential the way other people have seen my potential.
And there you go. And that's what matters.
That's what matters.
That's what matters. We were just talking about that.
That's the difference maker. Because, like, I remember when I got the call from my news director, I told him, I was like, yo, thank you for believing in me, because that's what it takes. And my mom always says this to me. She's like, Naomi, you're going to be fine. Because I'd be at homeless I remember the day of my graduation, I went back to New York. I drove back to New York right after my graduation. And, like, I went out with my friends. I had fun. But that weekend, I was so, like, depressed. Because this was your
grad school graduation?
My grad school graduation. So in May of this year. And I sat in bed that weekend just so depressed because I'm just like, I went to grad school and I was like, all right, Naomi, you're going to graduate in May. You're going to have your job right out. I was applying to, like, so many jobs in March. Yo, when I tell you, I probably have, like, over 100 cover letters. And it was just rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection. So then I was, like, working on my thesis over the summer, and I was like, yo, Naomi, like, you're really about to move back home. Because I remember when I went to Connecticut, my mom was like, okay, Naomi, so you're coming back home in August, right? And I'm like, no, Mommy, I'm not coming back home in August. Like, I'm going to go to a different state. And I kept telling her that. But then as August started rolling up, but I was like, yo, no jobs are calling me, so I guess I'm coming back home. And, like, I even reached out to my old restaurant job, like, yo, I might have to come back there just so I can have money while I'm in New York.
We don't want you.
Right. So it would have happened. So I was thinking about going back to that. So it was very depressing and very off-putting because I'm just like, yo, I've been putting in the work. Like, I really have been grinding. And, like, I'm like, I didn't have to take out a school loan. You know what I mean? Like, I went to undergrad. I didn't have any debt, nothing. So I put myself in a position where, like, all right, now I'm about to be in mad debt. So, I was hoping it was going to pay off. And it did eventually. But at those very moments, there was times where I was just so depressed. And I was like, yo, I'm really about to be in debt like crazy, still in my parents' house, working at a restaurant. And, trying to find somebody to believe in me. So when I did finally get that news director who did believe in me, it felt so good. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah, I understand.
So, yeah.
I understand the feeling. The other thing to note there is, like, look, everything happens and works out as it's supposed to. Sometimes you think those things are going to happen extremely quickly, and it doesn't necessarily work to that. Tell people a little about your inspiration. What made you want to get into sports broadcasting? We're all here sitting in this field. We all have done some work, but what really put you and said, hey, this is what I want to do?
Wow. So, like, honestly, growing up, my mom is a bigger sports fan than my dad is. My dad's not even a sports fan. So it's like my mom has kind of been my inspiration. Like, I remember on Saturdays, just like our mornings consisted of the Premier League. And it's like,
which Bryan doesn't know anything about. Care anything about.
All right, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, he's a soccer hater.
Right.
The last episode, I name dropped Yaya Toure. All right.
The
last episode.
That
you're
gives,
supposed to get like a
that
little
gives
brush
you
off.
Soccer credibility now.
100%.
Nope, you didn't even watch the World Cup. Goodbye.
Well, who was in it that I was gonna follow?
Oh, because
You
Puerto
mean
Rico
you
wasn't in it?
only follow players? Is
We
that what you're saying?
don't kick soccer balls.
Yeah, you punch people in the face.
Yes, we
Yeah,
box.
okay.
And play baseball.
Oh my God! But
Yeah,
still,
okay.
That's my
if you
cop
missed
out.
the World Cup,
I saw the World Cup though. I saw a little bit of it.
the World Cup is like one sporting event that any and everybody I feel can tune into.
Except Bryan.
Except for
He
Bryan.
won't do
Right.
it.
Again, I'm
But-
Puerto
but-
Rican.
but yes,
we box, we play baseball.
Your family, you're watching
Oh yeah, so
the Premier
my mom was always watching the Premier League.
and basketball. I had to get that in there. I forgot.
Oh, I think my mom definitely was watching.
No, I was like, I
basketball.
forgot. We also play basketball. We got
But
JJ
yeah.
Barea. You know what I'm saying?
So
Gang, gang.
that and tennis. So I grew up just watching sports, and then it just always kind of been around me. And then what really kind of set it off for me was when I started cheerleading in high school, and I don't know what it was, but it just was like I felt like I wasn't like I wanted to be a bigger part of the game. Like every game I cheered at, I was like, yo, I want to be in there. Like I want to be in. I don't want to be on the sidelines anymore. Well, I do want to be on the sidelines,
Even
but
though
like,
you did some stuff.
yeah, that's what I do. I didn't want to be on the sidelines, but
you know
not
what
in
she
that
meant.
not in that way. Like I wanted to be in it. So I just kind of had this like thing with journalism one time. I always felt like I was just the type of person who would do well being on camera, speaking my mind, speaking about things. So that kind of connected with one thing, and then I just kind of meshed it together. And trust me, there was periods of a time because when I first started going to Brooklyn College and I majored in broadcast journalism, I was like, all right, I'm probably going to be doing ET. Like, I'm going to be talking about this person, that person, be like the new Wendy Williams. Then after a while, I was like, yo.
Thank God.
I'm
you're not.
glad-
Thank
I
God
was like,
you're not
I
that.
know. And I was just like.
Beat me to it. Jesus Christ.
No disrespect to Wendy Williams.
No,
Yeah.
I don't care
That
if
form
it's
of journalism.
Yeah,
is not
I
my-
realized after I was like, I don't want to sit here and gossip about people. Like, that's not my personality at all. So then eventually I was like, what else could I fall back on? Like, what else? And I was like, sports, duh. And then, like, duh, sports, hello. So once I started doing sports reporting, though, I was like, yo, Naomi, maybe you don't know as much about sports as you think you do. So the fact of the matter is, I just found a crazy passion about it where I started going out to get football for dummies books, basketball for dummies book, baseball for dummies. Like every time, like if you check my browser history, I'm always searching something like about sports because it's like I didn't grow up on American sports. I grew up on like, football because my parents are from England, so I grew up on football, football, boxing, tennis, like not the mainstream American sports. So NFL wasn't a big thing in my house,
Right.
Until I got to high school. Same thing with NBA. Until I got to high school is when I started doing all that stuff. So if you think about it, my experience with sports is kind of still very new. You know what I mean? So at the time,
you still had a lot.
yeah,
to learn,
at the time when I was in Brooklyn College, so I put myself in a position where it was like I took a difficult way of getting into this industry. I could have took the easy way out and done entertainment reporting, but I was like, no, like let me go on this journey. So I packed in as much information as I could, and I'm still learning to this day about certain things, certain sports. I obviously don't know about every single sport out there, but I'm always I think the thing about me is that I'm always willing to learn. Like I know I'm not a know-it-all, so I'm always just like very eager to learn new things. So
that hunger to learn is definitely going to take you far. And I know I speak for Bryan too. We say we're super happy at just the growth. I've seen because I've really watched it.
I've
already began with the jokes. I'm just letting you know right now. That's already.
I'm
started.
super happy at
the Carl Anthony Towns. Remember I texted you the other day. I don't remember what I texted you, but all the Minnesota jokes.
Oh yeah. I was supposed to wear a Timberwolves shirt.
She said she was gonna wear a Giants jacket, which she did.
No, I said I was gonna wear Timberwolves gear.
Oh yeah.
Remember
I said you should.
I was going to, but then I was like, no, Naomi, don't do that.
You repping Minnesota hard?
I ain't set tripping. Like,
yeah, you representing Minnesota hard already.
I'm gonna have to though. I feel like I will like start watching the Timberwolves a little bit more.
You're gonna invest in the city.
I need an NBA team, y'all. I do. Like
you don't have an NBA team.
I don't have an NBA team. I have Russell Westbrook, who's my favorite player, and
we
guys
both
understand,
are Russell Westbrook
right?
fans.
It's hard to watch OKC for a whole season.
Whoa, calm down. I'm not a Westbrook fan. We established this in the episode with Tyler.
You're not a fan.
I just said that.
What the usual? He's a ball hog. Blah blah blah.
No,
he can never get a championship.
No, not that. That's not actually what I said.
Okay, good.
I'm just not as high on him as other people are. That's it.
That's not bad.
Whatever.
Dexter's like, I'm not trying to hear any of that.
So you're gonna be a Timberwolves fan. That's what I gather. You're gonna be rooting for Carl Anthony Towns and.
I'm gonna. I mean, there's talent on that roster, so I don't feel like I
until they get broken up.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's gonna happen.
Jimmy Butler says bye bye.
Right. When that happens is when.
All right. Before we go to break, go ahead, Bryan. What are you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, what are some of the things you're looking forward to the most as you go out there
in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Cold weather.
I'm not even trying to be funny.
Serena just broke a racket. She was so mad.
She was arguing with the official earlier.
I saw that. I want to say something real quick. As we're watching this match we mentioned before as we're going on, Osaka won the first set. Serena went up 3-1 in the second set. It looked to be could have went up 4-1, but she got broke. So that was kind of disappointing. Bryan, let's put all our rooting interest here. Bryan's rooting for Osaka.
Only because let me clarify why.
Because he wrote a story and he fell in love with her.
Okay, no, relax. I just wrote the story.
2 years ago is where it started.
No, 2 years ago I became a fan of hers actually, because I don't follow tennis like that. Full disclosure.
Okay.
I don't follow tennis. Full disclosure. She had a match with it wasn't even the match, because we used to when we did production at the U.S. Open, we used to look at the interview rooms as part of the process when we were there.
Oh.
So we go back. I'm telling you. So when I used to go to the interview room part of what we used to do, she had like an interview after one of her matches, and it was hilarious. And she was 18 at the time, so then that just kind of continued. Then she had the match of Madison Keys where she lost emotionally. Madison Keys had a great comeback, and she shut that down this time.
And now you are a fan.
Hell yeah.
Bryan's rooting for her.
So I have a question. Have you watched like her outside of the U.S. Open?
I saw her when she won Indian Wells.
Okay.
Yeah. And I saw her
She's
when
a great player.
I saw her when she beat Serena in Miami too.
I was going to say, kind of watching this.
But that was like Serena, just coming off.
I watched her a couple of times through this tournament, this U.S. Open. She's really good.
She's 20.
And
she'll be 21
I'm not the person to be on a hype train, but I like saying this when I say it. Oh, she's next.
Yeah,
and she's ready.
Yeah.
Oh, she's next and she's ready.
And she's very.
But I mean,
personality is very marketable.
I think Serena's gonna. I still think Serena's gonna win this.
Come back.
But she's.
But
this
right
girl,
now,
this
I
girl's
said
good.
that too, though. I said that I think Serena's gonna win.
Osaka's about to tie it up right now.
Yeah, it looks like it. But we'll keep you posted through this thing.
Even though this is coming out 5 days after the U.S. Open is complete.
The outcome already, but it's fun. It's fun doing this. So you're looking forward to the cold weather in Minnesota.
I'm not looking forward to the cold weather. I don't even know why you put that out there.
It's gonna be cold.
But you're looking forward to being there.
I'm looking forward to just grind. Like that's I'm just looking forward to leveling up. That's probably the biggest thing I am. Like, I'm so eager. I'm just exactly. Yeah, I'm just right.
That's like my daughter's favorite. That's my daughter's favorite song right now.
I thought it was
ATM.
Yeah,
it was, but now Level Up is past that.
And Win wasn't Win one of them also?
She liked that a little bit.
Win.
But Level Up, it's
epic.
Just don't play her any of Kamikaze. I know you won't though.
No, that hasn't happened. But like when she wakes up, Daddy, level up. Like everything, level up, level up.
On the wake up, that's the way to go.
But I like that.
That's
like
the way to go.
My daughter's being like, "Yo, you leveling up?"
Right, exactly.
Like,
Are you leveling up today?
So
wow.
She's smart.
She loves that song. Like she loves that song.
That's my anthem going to Minnesota.
We've probably played it like 500 times.
I'm gonna be on the drive like this
for 17 hours. That's another thing.
On replay for
Are you ready for the 17-hour drive?
Nobody's ready for.
I'm not ready for it,
drive.
but I'm ready to. I'm just ready to just make that leap and just be there.
I just hope you make it.
Wow.
Thank you.
You know what? You're gonna make it. All right. So we talked a bunch about Naomi. We're gonna take a break.
Coming up next, we're gonna ruin her bag. We're gonna talk about Kanye West.
We're gonna talk about Naomi's undying love for Kanye West, Colin Kaepernick, NFL, a whole bunch more. We'll talk about that when we come back on Ain't Hard to Tell podcast.
Greg, get a mic.
The Sports Walk is back. Watch Season 2 of Backpack Broadcasting's original web series that brings you the opinions of real sports fans. The entire first season and current season are available now on the Sports Walk YouTube channel and Facebook page. Check out the 2017 NYC WebFest official selection and see what other sports fans have to say on the hottest issues in sports today. It's easy. Just take the Sports Walk. Welcome back. Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, episode 43. Dexter, Henry, Bryan Fonseca, our guest, Naomi Grey, and we did not even give a player number for this episode. Bryan, as usual, is overly prepared and has the list of whack numbers.
All right, so we're going to do this. Anthony Tolliver. Kendrick Perkins.
Hell no.
Chris Humphries.
Oh, definitely no.
Raul Mondesi.
I liked Raul Mondesi growing up.
I did too. Dennis Eckersley.
Solid, very great closer.
Darren Sproles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
That's who I think I'm going to pick too.
I think that's a good one.
Because we're both short. And when I played football, I used to play like that sort of style.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm serious. I'm actually serious.
Oh, we're short football players.
Right.
Slot receiver, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. A little bit of running back He would normally use as a receiver. Though,
See, I like Troy Polamalu as the
and a
last
kick
choice
returner
on the list.
And Troy Polamalu, yeah, you bury the lead, nice.
Great,
I think Sproles
great
is the
player,
way to go.
good heart safety. You know, but you guys want to go with Sproles. Okay,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah,
people.
Darren Sproles.
All right, short people, you win. you get Sproles. Good for you. You short people stuck together.
I mean, why did Troy Polamalu? What is it? The Pittsburgh thing? Is that what you wanted?
Oh.
I'm not from Pittsburgh. I went to school in Pittsburgh. I'm not
But
a
sometimes
Steelers
you
fan.
can-
I mean, you kind of rep Pittsburgh,
But you
though.
can still rep it.
What
Like,
are
I
you
feel like
talking
if you're in
about?
school that
When
long-
have you seen me rep Pittsburgh?
Not the Steelers, but like the city.
No.
Damn. All right, fine.
No. Rest in peace, Mac Miller, though.
Oh,
my
right.
God, yeah.
You
Yeah.
did. Yeah. So that happened this past
It's been
week.
a tough few weeks.
I just want to say this. I wasn't I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, broke my heart. I was such a huge fan. Whatever. I did like him. Had respect for him, and he came up in sort of that era where when I was in high school, you started to see these like Chip the Rippers and Currency and Wiz Khalifa when he was pretty good. Drake was coming up around this time. You had like a whole era, and that word's being thrown around a lot now, but you had a whole era of dudes coming up during that time who were, different.
Yeah.
Made some sort of innovative stuff. The beats, the sounds were just very, very different from what was out at that time. Mac Miller was part of that, so, and I do think he has a place. Like he made a big impact at one point.
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean? Representing Pittsburgh like Wiz Khalifa did. He was sort of one of their go-to artists.
They were the two, yeah.
So yeah, that messed me up a little bit. Just like I heard that, I was like, wait, what? You know what I mean?
It was so random. I wouldn't. Yeah.
I think the day before there was a feature story done on him in the New Yorker. Or one of
And
those
that's
outlets.
it, guys. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Naomi Osaka has won the U.S. Open. We'll touch into the controversy.
Hey
around
man,
that.
look.
Oh my God! Do you see him smiling? Do you see him?
I'm gonna finish the Mac
Do you
Miller
see
thing
him
real
right
quick.
now?
I'm gonna finish the Mac Miller thing.
This
real
is
quick.
really tough for me.
But I just want to say, with Mac Miller, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Best wishes to his family and all that. And
man.
And people gotta leave Ariana Grande alone. Because
that's not
the
cool.
poor part.
That's not cool. People are coming at her because they broke up, and
you knew that was gonna happen just because the internet's the internet. But
like, dude apparently was,
she gave
had
her a
some
hug.
Depression. Are you serious right now?
Serena gave her a hug. Like, that's crazy.
Would you think that wasn't gonna happen?
I didn't know.
They always hug after games.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
They mostly give
I mean, she's
you know what?
gonna give Naomi Osaka
To be
a hug
fair,
like
they
that.
generally give people handshakes.
Yeah, be fair. Look, Naomi Osaka's crying now, and she really won the U.S. Open.
But okay, and Naomi Osaka won the U.S.
My
Open.
story this week is gonna be
There's
fire.
There's an asterisk to it.
There is an asterisk to this, Greg.
Why one game?
That whole thing changes.
It shifts the momentum.
Yeah,
momentum
Right
doesn't
after that
exist.
situation-
Momentum
Let me
doesn't
say
exist.
something. Right after
Momentum-
that situation,
You-
she would have
Momentum
been
is
tied.
momentum is just a feeling. Like
Dude,
momentum doesn't
that-
actually.
you just
Right
said it
after,
exists.
right after that
No,
situation,
no,
Serena would have
but-
been tied.
Here's what we need to do to explain for people not listening who don't know.
And Bomani Jones says that all the time about momentum. I agree with him. Momentum doesn't actually exist.
Yes,
It does.
I-
Are you
It
kidding
doesn't.
me?
No, it doesn't.
It does.
I think
It's your little puppy dog eyes
I think
and-
momentum is whatever you make of the situation. You could stop or start it, because in the situation we're about to talk about, it could have affected both people, right? If you believe in momentum, this is the if you believe in momentum. Let's just paint the picture clear for people who don't understand. Naomi Osaka won the U.S. Open championship, but the championship game is going to be marked with a lot of controversy because Serena Williams got into a verbal disagreement with the chair ump. Apparently, she had a warning, then a second warning when she lost a point in the game. Serena then, between, I believe it was the fourth game of the third set, told the umpire that he had stole a game from her and that he was a thief. He then gave her another penalty. So she ended up losing. Excuse me, she told her stole the point. He then gave her another penalty, and she lost a game. So now she went down, instead of being down 4-3, tied at 3, or 4-3, excuse me, what was the time? She
4-3.
went down 5-3. And Serena was visibly upset. She complained to I forget the two people who came out. I think they're like the head of the U.S. Open officiating. She came out. She complained to them strongly. She never cursed because we heard all the audio that was on CBS. She never cursed. She never was disrespectful. She was clearly upset. She was emotional. She was in a bit of tears a bit at one point. And she made a point that I thought was fair. She said there are men out here who've said and done worse at the U.S. Open, and they've never had a game taken away from them. This is true. Yeah. We've watched guys for years, John McEnroe, other guys, curse, berate, belittle refs, talk about their mom. I'm exaggerating maybe a little bit here.
But no, that's like mamas. They've done outlandish things.
They went almost that far. We've seen men almost go that far, not even almost go that far, and these dudes have still been allowed to continue. And you know what people labeled? John McEnroe as? Fiery. Passionate.
Right, they love him, the bad boy. Like,
whenever Serena's gotten into an argument with official, it's been she's not ladylike, she's not conducting herself in a particular manner. And we heard the audio on this. Was she upset at the umpire chair ump? Absolutely.
As she should, though.
Should she have lost the game here?
No.
Not in my opinion, from what I saw, and I know we're doing this podcast while he did it. I don't think so at all. And I'm sorry. There's been a lot of things that have happened around tennis in the last month, especially around Serena, has totally screamed of sexism. Yeah. It's been there before. From Serena, you can't wear the catsuit at the French Open. Serena needs to act this way. Yep. Now, her point that she made is right. I'm glad everybody got to hear it. Mm-hmm. Their point that she made about sexism, that's what I'm glad. I love that those mics were there and everybody got to hear it because now we can have a discussion about it. Don't know how y'all feel about it, but I think she brings up a great point.
She does.
I think so, too. Like, I've grown up watching tennis. I've seen how people, even Andre Agassi, like, mouthing off to the chair umps. And even some females as well, you know what I mean? But not, obviously, anything crazy. But the men definitely do get a pass. And Serena is Serena Williams. So they're going to treat her a different way than they treat other players. And that's hands down. So to see her get that emotional honestly broke my heart. I'm a big Serena fan. And one thing I know about Serena's playing style, when she's frustrated with herself, she broke a racket not too long before that.
Yep.
When she's in her head, it just messes up her whole game flow. So when I started seeing that happen, I was like, it either could go two ways where she comes back and is savage, but I seen she teared up, she broke down for a moment, so I knew that was it. That was going to be it. And I was telling Bryan, you said something about the momentum, and I was just like, had she not lost that game and came back right after, she would have been tied. That shifts things up.
She also would have been serving to tie that set. So that's what hurt her too.
So it messes that up. Now she's in her head. Her flow's all messed up from that. And I know she's disappointed in that situation. And I mean, I have nothing against Naomi Osaka. She's great upcoming talent. I always want to see females win, females be successful.
Oh yeah, I like her. She's good.
You know what I mean? She's great. She has potential, but I'm Serena through and through. And I always tell people, I feel like this is Serena 3.0. You know what I mean? We had the first Serena, and then the Serena who came back after her family tragedy, the blood clots and all that. And then now she had a baby. She's a mom. So now we're getting her again. And throughout her series in the U.S. Open, we were starting to see that vibe from her. She was coming back. The way she played Venus was amazing, outstanding. Everybody was like, she's going to get to the finals. So it always breaks my heart when I see Serena get there and crack. But this situation, as you mentioned, is something that never happened before. So to watch that happen live, and it caught us off guard because we're just,
It is. It's going to be a tough conversation because some people are going to say, you're a great athlete. You got to overcome those moments. You got to refocus. Yeah.
But you're human.
I think it's a lot easier to do that on a team sport than it is in an individual sport. I think it's very tough to do those individual sports where you feel like somebody may have taken something away from you. Mm-hmm. It's like if you feel like if you're boxing, Brian's a boxing guy.
Amir Khan just got knocked down, so I almost laughed.
Right. Sorry.
By somebody with 14 knockouts and 29 wins.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Brian.
Oh, Amir Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're in boxing and somebody keeps hitting you below the belt and the referee ignored it and you felt like they're getting an advantage and you're not, which is kind of comparable here because you feel like the other person's getting an advantage, you're not. This is taking nothing away from Osaka, who I think is a tremendous player. And I think she's up next. I'm not the fan Brian is of her yet, but I think that she's next. But it definitely does something. I think this is going to be talked about. I hope people
Pablo Torre just tweeted out, I'm not looking forward to the think pieces on this, and I'm inclined to agree.
No, I am. If people are willing to openly discuss and talk about the
but
sexism.
I know what he's talking about.
But what he probably means,
what I mean?
It means is that there's going to be over talking of it. It's going to be
everybody the drag session, of course.
It's gonna be on places.
But that's with anything.
By the way, that fourth voice is of Greg,
Yes.
who has a mic in case.
But
you
it's
guys
good.
are-
It's cool that we had something that happened in the moment. We got to react to it.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah,
gonna,
but now we're on limited time and we have to have this Kanye conversation.
Yeah,
so
well-
Oh my
we've
God.
been waiting to do this for a long time, right?
Yes, we have.
Naomi, you are Kanye through and through.
I am.
Uh,
I really am.
Dexter's old Kanye. That's why he has a college dropout shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand dude right now.
I can't stand.
Greg's done with him too. He calls him dangerous to the culture, and for those listening and watching, Greg is black.
No, not dangerous to the culture. He's dangerous to black people.
Okay.
Because when you go out and you support Trump, the way that he has, because he's pretty much operating in a space where it's all self-absorbed. He's only thinking about self, but he's not thinking about all the people that his words affect when he blurts that out. So in supporting someone like Trump, you're pretty much emboldening that whole base.
Did we select Kanye to lead us to the promised land? Because I must have missed something.
But you got to understand though, somebody like that kind of, it's really important.
But
He
what
is an
has
important
Kanye?
voice.
How many times have we had conversations of Kanye representing the whole black?
No.
Y'all already consider him a sellout the minute he started dating Kim
I'm not-
Kardashian.
I'm not
so let's
saying-
not go there. Let's not go there.
I never
So
said- I
now-
don't care who you
I'm
date.
telling
Yeah,
y'all.
I don't care who
But
you
I'm
date.
telling y'all. But
I
I'm
kill
saying
it.
from
This
what
is
I've
gonna be
seen
the
from
rest of the show.
from what I've seen from people, nobody was counting on Kanye for anything.
No, but he's someone that
They were.
could give
Yes,
a
they
lot
were.
back to the
Yes, they
community
were.
because he has the
Y'all
resources
have not
for
been
it.
depending
Well,
on
hold
Kanye
on.
since Kanye
Let's hold
came
on.
in.
Let's bring this back one second.
Yeah.
Let's bring this back one second. So that Naomi can make a point. Naomi, let's let.
Yeah, she is definitely a
No.
Kanye
But let's
Like,
let's
for
let Naomi speak. Naomi,
for sure.
I'm asking Naomi a question. Set up. Naomi, there obviously is things that come up with Kanye in the last couple of months. His comments about Trump wearing the "Make America Great Again" hat. Yes, there are people in the black community, hip hop community, who do not look at Kanye the same way anymore. You still, I don't know how you. Let me say in your own words. How do you feel about him right now, today in 2018?
He definitely does outlandish things. I'm not gonna agree with everything he does, but like what it reminds me. Every time I think about Kanye, I think about this Jay-Z line from Dear Summer, where he's like, "It's like the drunk
Memphis
uncle in
Bleak's
your
best song, by the way.
right." It's like the drunk uncle in your family. You know they're lame, you feel ashamed, but you love them the same. Like, that's how I feel about Kanye. Like, he messes up, but it's like, I love Kanye. I'm a fan of his work. I'm a fan of his artistry. You know what I mean? His songs to me,
No, but
I've
that's
always
different.
been.
That's different. You support him everything he says.
I did.
Like just
what
about
have I
everything he says.
I never
Hold
support.
on.
First of all, don't do that.
No,
don't
that's
do that.
true.
Don't,
You
don't
defend him
do
on
it.
the
I'm
whole.
not defending.
You
I'm
watch.
defending
I remember.
the fact that he has freedom of speech.
You watched the
I'm not-
Charlemagne interview, and you were posting clips from that on your Instagram
It was
story,
clips
rocking
that.
with
It
him.
was clips that. Did you watch the? Did
Wait,
you watch
is
the
that-
whole 2
wait,
hours?
is that
No,
the-
time out. Let me talk.
Yeah.
Did you watch the whole 2 hours?
Yes, I
Did
did.
you? Okay, you must have not, because what I was posting had nothing to do with what he was saying about Trump.
I didn't
What he
say
was saying
that.
about
I
everything
didn't
like
say that.
So, but your
I
point
said
is
you
you're
were
making.
just
I
posting-
you said I defend everything he says. That's not
Pretty
true.
much.
That's
Except
not true.
probably not the
when
Trump
it comes
stuff,
to his
but you
political
defend a
views,
lot of the
I
things he
defend
says.
the fact that he has freedom of speech.
So
I
are
don't
you
agree with it.
So do you think he's a free thinker?
I don't. I mean, he's gonna think about whatever he wants.
Are you separating?
not-
Are you separating the artist from his political views? Like, are you
I
able
am.
to do that?
I am
So-
able to do that, and the fact that some people aren't able to do that, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Okay, I can
But my
respect that.
thing is like, I don't know. When it comes to when it comes to Trump, I just block off everything. What he said was not right, but I listen to him. I have friends who are Trump supporters. Well, a friend who's a Trump supporter, and I sat down with her, and she's entitled to her political views. But one thing that I do want to know, I just want to know why. I want to give you that platform to explain to me why. I don't want to judge you. I don't want to consider you a racist. I don't want to make those conclusions, because I think that the biggest thing about unity and all that, you got to hear each other out. You're not going to agree with everything somebody says. You're not.
So-
but I do agree when there are racist people who support
Yeah.
Trump. Like the
I-
bulk of it, there are people who hate black people, and that's why they support Trump.
I actually agree with what Kanye was saying when he was told. I understand where he's coming from. Like, you want to lead with love, try a different way.
Right, yeah,
but
I
maybe
understand
it's
that.
not the way
But
for this
and the thing
person.
about Kanye, we've always gotten Kanye who's just been outlandish. When he did
Yeah,
that, when
no
he said,
problem, no doubt.
when he went out and was just belligerent, was like, George Bush doesn't like white
But
people.
see, but don't
Black
care about
people,
black
black
people. But here's the
black people,
But
sorry.
that's the
And that's-
problem
that's
for
wh-
people.
that's
right?
where people
Some
look
people-
to him.
I
Some
understand that.
people are looking at it like, yo, this was the guy that was anti folks that don't care, and what the policies and stuff that's been spewed by Trump, he
Right.
is shown to not care about
But I
minorities
never, the thing
here
about
in this country.
The thing, though,
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
the
so
thing.
hold on.
No,
I'll
let
let
me
you answer
say
the
something,
question.
because you guys are going into a different realm. I never said I agreed.
Oh
with
no, I'm
it.
not saying that you did.
Okay, cool.
What
I
I'm
want to
sa-
make that
what
clear,
I'm
because y'all
saying-
are
Nah,
making
you're
it
just a
seem-
fan. Just a fan.
I'm a fan of
and
Kanye.
that's why I
that's
get-
it.
that's
I don't want to
yeah.
say that, because I really am anti that
I know
other
that,
side.
and I
So
know
I
that
don't want
about
to be
you.
depicted as like I
You're separating the music
Yes.
from the beliefs.
Good. As long as we
Let me just reiterate that to even be further
Cool.
clear.
She's not Candace Owens, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
know from Naomi, and she just said, I know where she stands on a lot of political things. I know how you feel about Kaepernick and the players in the NFL.
Yes.
I know how you feel about racial injustice.
Right.
I know how you feel about the policies of Trump and how it affects black and brown people in the United States.
right.
You're able to separate the art of the
I
artist from what is politically what he's saying. And I think you have every right to do that. Just as much as somebody has a right to say, hey, I don't really want to mess with Kanye anymore because
absolutely.
I don't rock what he's wanting to say. They have a right to do that too. I don't think it makes you wrong.
Right.
I can understand where that's coming from. I don't think they necessarily have to be all in one and the same.
Right.
I just personally, it's easier for me to just separate myself from listening to him because I just don't think he's made really good
And
music.
the music
Yeah.
Since my
quality
people
is
don't
on
understand.
that.
That's the
good.
problem.
And that's also me separating the
Right.
art
Yeah.
from
the
his
situation.
stance.
Yeah,
I don't
you guys
like
are
what he's
entitled
saying,
to doing that.
but yes.
Don't get
But
me
I
wrong.
have my own reasons why I would
Yeah.
sit there and still like when Ye came out, I was on it. That's
Yeah.
me. I'm a Kanye
Did you like
fan. That's
Ye?
why I
Yeah,
liked
we've
Ye.
all been on it.
I liked Ye. There was obviously some songs I didn't like, but I liked Ye because he was expressing expressing himself in the situation he currently is in, dealing with his bipolar, dealing with his addiction, dealing with the fact that he had liposuction, all those things he was in. That was what he was putting out. So I was hearing him out. I'm a fan.
Right.
Like it's like even me being a Giants fan. The Giants had a 3-13 season last year. I'm just gonna hop out. That's it. I'm done
you
with
can't
them.
do that.
I mean, you could. Brian did that with the
I
Jets.
could.
Yeah, you're out of
could.
control.
You
You're out of
could,
control.
but
You're out
to
of
me,
control.
loyalty is
How?
everything. To me, loyalty is
Nah,
everything.
loyalty
So
is
I'm
See,
not
I
hopping
think
off
loyalty
that
is
boat.
overrated.
That's you.
No,
That's
I
not
think
the type of person I ever will be.
no,
Like,
but I think loyalty is overrated from the sense like, all right, if you're loyal to somebody and they beat you up, are you still gonna be loyal to them?
it depends who are. There's
If
people.
they're a friend, that's
It
different.
depends
Like
who
physically
it is.
beat you up.
Well, I think
You know
that's,
what I mean? Like,
I think the word
I-
hurt there is a good point because teams can hurt you.
Yeah.
We stay loyal
We
to
Knicks fans.
No, hold on. We stay loyal to our teams.
No,
I've
Knicks
had-
fans.
I'm a Knicks fan. They have not had a good relationship with me. Has their ownership done right by me?
No.
Nope.
No.
Why should I stay loyal to them?
Exactly.
Right.
But we
that-
do.
But
and I'm not
that's
saying,
why I got out of being a Jet fan. I
and
was
I-
like, this
I-
team sucks, and they've sucked for a long time, and I'm like,
You're
I want to
different.
preserve my
The older
sanity.
I get-
That's understandable.
The older I get, the
It's
more
more
I
of a
understand
conscious
that.
decision.
But I think
For-
if you let
for-
sports,
I just don't take sports that serious to worry
Exactly.
about
There
it.
it is.
So it's like
That's why.
I'm
another
somewhere
reason
between
why,
the both
yeah.
of you. If
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
no,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
like I
understand
said,
both.
loyalty to me is everything, and I'm not even a big music fan. Like I kind of am, just like whatever. But when you ask me about my favorite artist, Kanye would be up there, and like I
That's
have
fine.
that connection. That's fine, and I feel like when he made his outlandish comments, I was kind of used to it in a sense. I'm a different type of person. I'm a little bit more understanding with things. I don't get too riled up about people's personal views because I realize everybody's entitled to it. But when he said the thing about, oh, it sounded like slavery was a choice, but I was like, it's just Kanye saying some other bull crap. Like when he went up stage with Taylor Swift, like when he said house sway, all that stuff. The whole.
So you're saying
George
you
Bush
shouldn't be surprised at the nonsense that comes out of his mouth. At
You
this
shouldn't be
point.
surprised. And he was doing, he had a couple interviews with some local Chicago radio stations, and he apologized for it and stuff like that. I mean, everybody says, well, if you said it, you meant it, whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, Kanye, after his mother passed away, I'm not using that as an excuse, but I'm saying,
Kinda lost it.
he started doing some stuff like that. So I wasn't surprised. And, people tell me I'm wilding by saying this, like other Kanye fans. I'm like, it's funny that he was causing all that commotion right before his album dropped. You know what I mean? So I felt like,
I don't think that was
Right.
Well, that's
But
why
I'm
he
saying-
got back on Twitter to begin with.
but yeah, so he was causing a lot of commotion, causing a lot of attention. I bet you a lot of Trump supporters was downloading Ye. That's it. His fan base went up or whatever. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that's probably what happened from it. And I don't think he was stupid in doing that. But
Nope,
Kanye is the
don't
type of
think so
person
either.
who's not afraid to say what's on his mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why he connects with Trump. Not that it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
both those people have no filter.
Right, exactly. So I think that's what Kanye was trying to say when, love is love, blah, blah, blah. But to us, we're like, we ain't doing that.
No.
That's not what you should do.
What I hear from you is it sounds like you understand
Where he's coming from.
how what he's saying is problematic in terms of, and I think this is what Greg was alluding to, and how it can affect other people. Because while you might be a thinking person that's able to separate the art
Absolutely.
and the artist from
Not
his
everybody
political
is.
thing, not everybody is. And some people are stands of people, not fans, stands.
Yeah.
We're talking about that ride on everything
Yeah,
that
no,
an
I'm
artist
not
says.
going to do that. I'm
not
Naomi Grey
saying
at
you,
the end
but
of
I'm
the day.
just.
But no, I'm saying that
but
there
in
are people
terms-
like that.
Yeah, in terms of what Greg is saying, this is where it could be, to use Greg's word,
Yeah.
dangerous.
Right, and I see how
Rhetoric can be dangerous.
Yeah, and I see
Yeah.
how it has affected people. Like he brought a girl to tears. One of the girls for interview was like, yo, when you said that, like, and she was crying as she said it to him. And then eventually in the interview, he started crying too.
Because we all look up.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't,
not
but-
everybody.
When he came out,
My parents. One thing though is my parents raised me right to not really idolize people. Like even when I'm in locker rooms with professional players and stuff like that. I remember like going to Barclays, going to the Knicks games. Like I was sitting there like, oh my God, Carmelo Anthony, you're the Messiah. Like I don't look at people like that. You know
better
what I mean?
not look at him like
No,
that.
not.
Jesus, you going to the church of Jesus?
Nah, but I realized not to put all my eggs in a basket with somebody and be like, yo, this is if Kanye says this is that. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go hard and I'm like, yo.
It comes off like that sometimes.
It does come off like that, but that's why I'm happy that I'm able to express myself and explain
I
myself.
can see, and I think glad you had the platform to explain that. I can understand the difference between fanism and stanism.
Yeah,
I think there's a different.
There's actual psychotic people there, and some people are like, Naomi, when you post that, like my DMs were blowing up after that, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm here to talk to you though.
That's
like,
how that's how it comes off, especially
like,
now.
Right, and I'm like, if you guys, I'm here to talk. If you're willing to listen, if you're not willing to listen, get out of my whole DM.
Well, maybe also part of the problem is that some of the stuff you say or might react to. I'm talking about anybody, not you specifically, Naomi. You're doing this in a limited character setting, and everything is
context.
Everybody,
in
people are gonna be able to
context.
perceive however they want. Exactly.
So people take things we're in this shock and awe reaction kind of situation.
Yeah.
We're talking a little hip hop. Another thing before we wrap up.
His music is trash.
Another thing.
Not all of it, Brian. Stop it.
I have not.
Not all of it.
I haven't really.
But in the last 8 years.
Listen, I'm only listening. Like, as of right now,
I'm sorry. Life of Pablo had some really good songs. We're not gonna do that.
I'm only listening
We're not
to
gonna
Kanye
do that.
From College Dropout to
I am.
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I'm definitely gonna do
great.
that.
Then do that. Then you good.
He gave us great stuff. There
I'm
are
sorry,
some songs like Pablo that I like, but
there were like 3 I liked.
Even the songs that he produced like the song
like 3.
rollouts.
I'm with you.
Pusha T was probably the best beats he gave. After that,
people
those
don't talk about that.
Those
the
are
production
good.
he did on Pusha's
He also
album. It was crazy.
He also destroyed Nas's album.
That's a problem. Tiana had problems.
Tiana,
yeah.
But let's talk like Tiana though. Whatever. I'm not.
He gets too many passes musically. He gets way too many.
What passes?
But
because people think he's a genius.
He is a
for
genius.
doing low quality work.
No.
Low quality work.
That's why. His album cover on the last project where Kim Kardashian was talking about, he took a picture with his phone on the way to wherever and wrote on it and made that. And then people looked at that and said that's genius and artistic.
Well, that's people.
That's an example. I'm giving you an example. But
here's the thing.
But Dexter, you understand what I'm saying.
But here's the thing that happens in hip hop. Yeah. When you have a classic album, or you have albums that are considered close to that greatness, the way he has with College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, and for some people, which I don't agree, I think the album's a little overrated.
Yeah.
Although I like the album.
We went through this with Gerard.
But when you have albums like that, you get the passes. It's like
he did what he had to do.
Let's
and more.
Great album.
There are other people in hip hop who have put out one great album. Never come close to that. You know, it's a great example of that. Snoop Dogg. I'm not saying he gets called a genius, but Snoop Dogg. tell me the good album Snoop Dogg's put out since Doggy Style. Doggy Style's classic, great album, fantastic album. Ever since then, Snoop Dogg's nothing. And Snoop Dogg's probably one of the most
features have been carrying him on a lot.
He's had a couple good songs with Pharrell.
The rebranding.
But in terms of an album, I'm talking about body of work. He hasn't had that, and he's coasted off of that one classic.
Right.
I think he's coasted off of the R.I.P. from West
all right.
Coast and Dr.
So
Dre and all
what?
that kind of stuff.
What's the difference with what I'm saying?
Kanye did
No,
a
the
lot.
difference with what I'm saying is Kanye has more than just like.
Nah, he's got a catalog.
Yeah, I'm saying
no. That's not what I'm. But you're. That's not what I'm not saying. I'm saying.
That's why is he getting passed.
What I'm saying is this is why he's getting the pass.
No, but I'm saying he's getting the pass. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm saying why he's getting the pass. That's all I'm saying.
But that doesn't mean it's justified that he should get a pass.
I'm saying it's what
And
happened.
that's your opinion, though.
I agree with you.
Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying this exists
because that's low quality. What he gave to Nas was low quality.
I don't
It's
disagree
very low
with
quality.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that he put out recently has been low quality compared to his earlier
But I'm just
stuff.
saying, if you can give Pusha
And
T,
remember, you gotta remember this about me. You also gotta, remember. Well, he was the executive producer.
I know, but I'm saying
you gotta also remember this about me. You gotta also remember this about me.
He's not a Kanye fan though.
You
gotta really
but you gotta remember this about me. I listen to a long. I'm looking at this more objectively then, and I listen to a longer library of music compared to most people. Like I listen to a lot of people that people haven't heard of. So when I'm stacking up the people compared to the people in this room, So when I'm stacking up Kanye up to somebody like Sky Zoo who just put out a really great project.
Yeah, but
like, come on.
But they're in two different realms, though.
Why?
Sky Zoo's not.
Why are they in two different realms?
Sky Zoo's
not a
Sky Zoo's
producer
album.
rapper.
But what I'm saying is his album is a lot better. I'm just comparing the quality of music.
Yeah, but Kanye's doing fashion.
But what I'm telling you, no. But what I'm telling you, what I'm telling you is that I listen to a lot more artists than the typical, person who listens to maybe 10 or so artists that is quick to say Kanye is great. So therefore, I listen to other artists. No, he's not.
All right.
Therefore,
and that's your opinion. You're saying I'm going about this objectively.
But you're not letting me finish.
Because you're gonna just
wait. So I'm not objective because I say he's not great.
No,
because we have differing opinions.
You have some preconceived notions and stuff in there.
He has great things. He has great things done in his career, but his overall body of work is not great. He doesn't have the consistency.
He's got 3 really good albums.
70-30, Bryan.
Here's the thing.
Are you kidding me?
70-30 is great. 70-30 is great.
No,
it's not.
It's very good.
No, it's not. 70-30 is a C- in school.
But
you can't equate that to great. You can't equate that to great.
If 70% of your albums that you put out are very good to great, I'd say you're a pretty damn good artist.
How many albums has he missed on?
That's
like,
not
3?
great.
Maybe 2?
You said 70% very good to great. That's not great.
But so what makes somebody a great artist then?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Actually, consistently great albums. Now, great is subjective.
Who's done that in hip hop?
Jay-Z, Nas.
But Kanye's been doing this since like 03.
Nas had some duds. Nas made Nostradamus.
Yeah, but
I love Nas.
But he had Illmatic. He had Stillmatic. A lot of people will say It Was Written is better than Illmatic. I disagree, but I think It Was Written is very, very good.
Is the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy of Nas's catalog.
Okay, you have God's Son, great album.
Good
Life
album.
Is Good. We went through this. That is a great album.
Very good album.
Look, great is subjective.
I would not say it's
great is subjective.
Yes, see, that's why nobody can truly be objective on this. It's subjective.
Exactly.
Great is subjective.
I think that's Naomi's point.
But I'm saying that, but you're making it sound like, no, but you're making it sound like because I don't think Kanye is great, that he's not great.
What?
You're making it sound like, I think I messed up the first time. I said,
bro, what?
You're making it sound like just because I don't think Kanye is great, like that's the worst thing in the world. Like I don't.
No, I'm not thinking of that.
I don't think Naomi cares.
I don't. Your opinion on Kanye.
Evidently she does because listen to her.
Well, we're having a heated conversation. You felt so strongly about the stuff I said, and now I'm feeling strongly about this specific.
I don't feel that strongly about what you said. I just think you wild out sometimes.
I don't know.
I would love to put I would love to put what I put out because I don't think I'm wilding. Like,
I understand, like
especially with the Charlemagne interview clips. Like I still got them in my phone.
Even Charlemagne said that Even Charlemagne says that when Kanye supports Trump, when he says that he supports Trump, he asks him why, and Kanye doesn't give him an answer.
Yeah, same thing when he went on the
like
the
he's stupid.
Well, Naomi, how do you feel about things like that where he did not answer
Jimmy Kimmel
direct questions when you said he's on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't because you're a fan. I think I got the sense of how you feel about it is that I separate the art from music, as we talked about. We've exhausted that already, but when he doesn't answer that,
I think he's backpedaling. I think he's backpedaling, and my thing is like, if you're gonna be a man of your word, be your man of your word. But even when, like I said, I feel like when Kanye said it, people are gonna go, "Oh, he didn't mean it." I feel like he didn't mean it. That's why he can't back it up right now. He doesn't feel that strongly about it. He doesn't feel comfortable enough to be like, "Yeah, I meant it."
He drove himself into a place.
That's what I'm saying. You think you meant it, but I feel like he went. That's why he went and apologized for it. He's just blurting things out.
I think he's been searching for acceptance.
His opinion is not strong enough because he can't back it up
from other groups, but he does. But when his community turns on him, he won't stand by it. So to some degree, I agree with that. But I think he's long been searching for this acceptance.
No, honestly, absolutely.
Even from when he had that legendary like interview on 105.1 where he was talking about how he was trying to get more acceptance from the fashion community.
Yes.
Trying to get
I remember
his
that
line out there and things like that, and how these white designers weren't like looking at him seriously as a designer.
I think that's
he
really
mentioned stuff like that. He mentioned
really
stuff like that on the Charlemagne interview as well. So he's still battling those demons. But I do agree with you. Like he did kind of reach a group of people where he's being kind of, I don't have to say it. We all understand.
He's trying to reach white people.
But how is he not reaching white people?
He's been
No. I say he's trying to reach white people.
But I don't understand how he thinks he hasn't.
I don't know.
He's been very influenced by
look at his rollout for his last album. He reached plenty of white people.
No, he's been reaching rap. White people
You're
go
saying
to
that
concerts.
they've been there, but what I think that we're
Yeah.
saying, I mean, Naomi was saying, is that
Yeah.
he still thinks he has another level to go in certain realms, like the fashion world, et cetera, et cetera.
But he's already doing it.
We're gonna wrap it up. But before I want to go, some of the news. Real quick, we're gonna have to touch on this. The Nas versus Kelis situation.
Oh,
that's come out. Yeah. Nas had a series about 7 posts on Instagram detailing that he's had enough with the situation back and forth with him and Kelis, who accused him of domestic violence and other things. And Nas is saying that it isn't true. After Essence reached out to him for comment on the story, and he said he wasn't true. Nas had this very long, passionate response. Just want to quickly hear everybody's take on Nas's response. Did you see it now?
Can I get a synopsis? Because when I was looking, I don't want when it's on.
We don't have enough time.
I can't read all of that.
I need a review.
I can't read all of that.
We don't have it.
You saw it and you were like.
I was like, this is going to take some time for me to really digest, and I skipped by it. I've been too busy.
I need a review.
Yeah, it was passionate. We'll probably have to touch this on another podcast.
Probably, but briefly, let me say this. So, like, we were talking about Kanye just now, and you said that you can separate the art from the artist, which is becoming increasingly difficult to do. Because I remember when these allegations first came out, and we did this on like episode 28, we were talking about the Nas album. Yeah. And Dex, you were saying that you wasn't sure you were going to buy this album with Kanye or listen to it at all or whatever. And then I ended up reluctantly streaming it, but I had the same fight that you did. So now that this comes out, where do we kind of stand with Nas?
For me, where it stands is that what I see from all this that came out is that, look, Nas and Kelis, it appears that they've had a very volatile relationship, something that you and I had spoken about before.
Because when that first came up, like the first allegations came up, and I know everyone's inclined to like believe something right away, and then I'm like, yo, can we just wait and let these facts come out? And what I had told you in private was that I'm pretty sure something actually happened on both sides, because Kelis has had a little bit of a past that I can't really ignore. So has Nas. Yeah. So has Nas. So I looked at it in both. But I was saying that because Kelis is the one that came out with the allegations.
Wait, sorry to cut you off, but so this post, did it confirm those allegations?
No. Here's the thing from this post. We still don't know the truth. We don't know anything on either side.
And here's the thing. I don't know if we're ever going to know.
Right, we're not.
So you kind of have to believe what you want to believe.
My conclusion to put a bow on this as we wrap up is just, look, in all this thing, I feel bad, especially being a parent. I feel bad for the kid involved and the children involved in this, because now this is so public and they have to see this going on between the parents. Other things I'll take out from is, one, we talked about with Kelis, domestic violence, never cool, not here for it. Nobody should be putting their hands on anybody in a relationship, man or woman. Yeah. Secondly, Nas talked about receiving some verbal abuse, something you sometimes don't see.
Which he rapped about on Life is Good, by the way.
Yeah, sometimes something you don't hear men talking about and needs to also be taken seriously. I hope that out of this, the stuff that's come, whether it's from Nas or Kelis, there can be actually serious conversations about that. The only thing I had issue with Nas and what he wrote in there was, one, he said something that he actually had a line on in Life is Good. He said, I wasn't the most faithful husband. Yeah. And I was like,
he quoted himself.
And I was like, yeah, that's like being like, I wasn't the most studious student, which kind of implies that you might have studied sometimes and not studied other. Well, it's like, well,
I definitely wasn't.
When it comes to faithful, if you're in a monogamous relationship, it's like,
there's no in between.
Yeah, man, it's like you either cheated or you didn't.
You half cheated.
Which one is it?
And all men cheat. I just want to put that out there.
And then he says,
wait, you said who cheated?
All men cheat.
We're going to do another podcast now.
Damn. That's going to be a whole.
She's going to say that and then go to Minnesota. Like,
ain't nobody coming to see you in Minnesota.
No, actually they are. They just don't want a relationship. Maybe
the other thing.
That's fine by me. I don't want one either. So
okay. And that's a choice.
Right.
The other thing I will say is that Kelis. He then said that Kelis was jealous, and I was like, well, maybe she's jealous because of the cheating. Like that's not that crazy. But
he also said that when he was going to spend time with. He also said when he was going to spend time with his kid earlier this year that Kelis went up to his house to go get her son. And like they had a fight in front of his door.
Look,
her stepdad or her dad had to restrain her and all this stuff. Like that whole situation just sounds
right.
But we don't know. I don't think. Here's my thing. I don't want people to jump on one side or the other just because like they just have to do that.
They both seem very much on the wrong.
I think all we can say from what has been.
I guess. I don't even know that.
But all we can say from what was presented to us, it appears that there's been a very volatile relationship, and the issues of domestic violence and also verbal abuse should be taken seriously on both sides.
All I'm gonna say is that the Nas and Kanye album was not the Nas album done album, and I feel like on his next album he's gonna actually get into some of this stuff.
I don't even think I'm gonna listen. I'm good.
So Greg is done. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Naomi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Finally, we
guys.
got to talk
It's
about your
been
career,
good, yeah.
some Serena, some passionate. You and Brian gonna be fighting about Kanye forever.
Nah, we're
Not
gonna be
really.
talking.
Yo, Brian.
Not
Brian.
Yeah.
Brian, he's
Believe
great.
it.
He's great. He's great.
Nah,
We're not
I
gonna go
disagree.
back.
I
Don't go
disagree.
back on that.
I don't not to say I don't look. I think he's good. I don't think he's
Alright.
great, and I don't
That's
think
good. I'm happy you said that. I'm
I
happy you.
No, because I just think
I don't.
certain
I don't
things-
think currently he's
Hey,
very good either.
hey,
overall,
hey,
man.
shut up.
He always gonna come after me too.
No, I'm
talking.
talking to all of y'all.
You looked at
I'm
me.
talking to all of y'all.
Fine.
I'm talking to all of y'all. We got it.
But nah,
you don't
it's
think
fine.
Kanye's great. You love Kanye. We're kind
I
of
love
like,
Kanye like Kanye loves Kanye.
ooh, I don't know. If,
That's a little strong.
That's a little strong.
He
Yeah.
definitely loves
All
himself.
right.
I don't know if Kanye love the black people right now. But that's
All
all another story.
right. You know
All right,
what?
that's a wrap for episode 43 of the A Hotel Podcast. We want to wish Naomi best of
Thank
luck
you.
in her career out in Minnesota.
you.
When I'm out there covering some cold conditions for
We'll
AccuWeather,
link up.
we're going to link up for sure. And we're going to
Thanks.
try to find the worst Caribbean food that we can find.
All right.
In Minnesota.
You right.
We're going to do that. Probably won't have to work too hard to
Right.
find that at all whatsoever. Thank you for joining us. All right, for episode 43, the Troy Polamalu episode.
What?
What? We went with Sproles.
Damn, I tried to hijack that one without
Yo,
y'all
Matt,
knowing.
don't play. I'm gonna give you the art. What to put on the artwork.
Sorry, guys. The Darren Sproles episode,
Damn,
because
hater.
the short people to my left had to have
I'm
it
so
that
with Brian,
way.
but
Me and
we ain't
Naomi
gonna
gotta
talk
agree
about
on something.
Yeah, you guys.
No, we
you
were
guys-
good the whole episode.
Yeah, until it came
except-
to Kanye.
Yeah, except for that.
All right, that
And Serena and
all right, that's a wrap for this episode. Be sure to give us a rating on iTunes, any of the platforms you listen to the podcast on. Give us a really good rating if you can. Don't be whack with anything less than 5 stars. And also support us on Patreon, where for just as little as $3 a month, you can get extra content from this podcast and all the other great stuff from Backpack Broadcasting. Again, for episode 43 of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, for Naomi Grey and Brian Fonseca, I'm Dexter Henry. Peace.